I was one of a group of 6 friends who decided to take a road trip through the forest for a weekend getaway. We piled into our cars and set off, excited for a break from the hustle and bustle of city life. As we drove, the trees grew thicker and the road narrower. The bright afternoon sun gave way to a dreary, mist-shrouded forest. We were all a little nervous, but still eager to push on. It wasn't long before things started to take a turn for the worse. Our lead car suddenly skidded to a halt. A tree had fallen across the road, and there was no way around it. We all got out to assess the situation, and that's when we realized that our phones had no signal. Panic set in as we tried to figure out our next move. It was then that we noticed something strange. The fallen tree was covered in deep gashes, as if something had tried to claw its way through. We decided to leave the cars and continue on foot, hoping to find help. As we hiked deeper into the forest, the mist grew thicker, obscuring our vision and making it difficult to find our way. Every sound, every rustling leaf, every snapping twig made us jump. The unease only grew as we came across strange markings on the trees, symbols that none of us recognized. The air grew colder, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. Suddenly, we heard a blood-curdling howl, and all of us froze. It was like nothing I had ever heard before, a sound that chilled me to the bone. And then, without warning, a pack of creatures appeared, snarling and snapping at us. We ran, but they were fast. We could hear them getting closer and closer, their hot breath on our heels. Just as it seemed like we were about to be overtaken, we stumbled upon a clearing and saw a cabin. We raced inside, barricading the doors and windows behind us. As we caught our breath, we realized that the cabin was already occupied. An old man sat in a rocking chair by the fire, staring at us with piercing eyes. He told us a story of a cursed forest, where those who entered were never seen again. He warned us to leave while we still could, but it was too late. The creatures had found us. We spent the rest of the night huddled in the cabin, listening to the howls and screeches of the creatures outside. Every time we thought they had gone, they would return with even more ferocity, battering against the doors and windows. We were trapped with no way out. As the night wore on, our nerves frayed. Tempers flared and accusations were thrown, as we each wondered who was responsible for bringing us to this cursed place. And then, just as dawn was breaking, there was a sudden, deafening silence. The creatures were gone, and we were left to wonder what had happened. We decided to take our chances and make a run for it, hoping to find our way back to the road. But as we stepped outside, we realized that the old man was nowhere to be found. In his place was a note scrawled in what appeared to be blood. It read, "You should have listened." We fled back to our cars, hearts pounding, and made our way back to civilization as quickly as we could. But even now, months later, I can't shake the feeling that something is following me, watching me, waiting for its chance to strike. As we drove, the fear that had settled over us in the forest seemed to linger. None of us spoke, each lost in our own thoughts. It wasn't until we hit a stretch of road that was under construction that we realized just how much trouble we were in. The road ahead was blocked off, with a detour sign directing us down a narrow, bumpy path that wound its way through the hills. We had no choice but to follow it, but as we drove, the road grew steeper and the drop-offs grew precipitous. It wasn't long before the car in front of us lost control and careened off the road, tumbling down the side of the mountain. We screeched to a halt, staring in horror as the car came to rest at the bottom of the ravine. We climbed down to the wreckage, only to find that everyone inside was dead. And that's when we realized that there was something strange about the detour sign. It was old, weather-worn, and had clearly been there for some time. The fear that had been lurking in the back of my mind now took over. We were lost, alone in the middle of nowhere, with no way of communicating for help. And there was something out there, watching us, waiting to strike. We stumbled back to our cars, hearts pounding, and made our way back to the main road as quickly as we could. Even now, as I sit here, safe and sound, the memory of what happened in the forest haunts me. The knowledge that something was out there, watching us, waiting to strike is etched into my mind. The thought of it makes my heart race and my palms sweat. I know that I will never forget the terror of that night, and the fear will stay with me forever. If you like these stories and want to hear more, then please like and subscribe and help this channel grow. We have more scary stories for you to listen to and to keep you up at night.